Hello, friends. Hello, friends. Hello, friends. Welcome to Nuggets of Gold. The last week or two, my brain has been particularly pierced, maybe more than usual, by some of the global events. We've got the Afghanistan stuff going on, the U.S. withdrawing troops, and then chaos kind of emerging. At the same time, we had an earthquake in Haiti where 1,300-ish people, their lives were lost in an earthquake. And I don't know why. Well, actually, I do know why. I'm going to tell you why. While these things were happening, I was reading in the book of Job in the Old Testament. And the book of Job is a book examining one man's journey through terrible, awful, excruciating circumstances. And as Job goes through the loss of his children, the loss of his physical health, his wife tells him to curse God and die. Job wonders, and he wonders out loud as he speaks to his friends and he speaks to God. He wonders, I think it would have been better if I had never been born. God, why did you have me born on this earth, in this body, if this was going to be the circumstances that you gave me? And so I think I was kind of more sensitive and tilled up by my Bible reading time when these things are happening, and it caused me to really wrestle with the human evil happening in Afghanistan, human foolishness happening in Afghanistan, and then the natural evil, the natural suffering in Haiti caused by the earthquake. And so when I came to the end of Job, I came to the 4 chapters, chapters 38 through 41, where God responds to Job, finally at the end of the book, and I was comforted and cautioned by some of God's responses. I want to share a few lines. When you get tripped up by the evils of the world, one of the places you can go, it's not like a fluffy, marshmallowy, put a warm blanket around your shoulders kind of place, but when you need a solid rock to feel God underneath your feet, the end of Job is a good place to go and be reminded that God is in control. Let me share a few of these lines. Job 38, verse 4, God says to Job, "Where were you when I laid the foundation of the earth?" So he's saying, Job, you're asking me about what's going on in the earth. You weren't there when I started to put the pieces together, when I started unrolling history. You weren't there with my wisdom. And then he goes on in chapter 39, God uses a few animals to challenge Job's wisdom, to say, how smart are you, Job? Do you really think that you can see everything there is to see and perceive the whys and the hows of everything? He says this, chapter 39, verse 1, "Do you know when the mountain goats give birth?" Of course, Job doesn't. He doesn't know when they give birth. They live in the mountains. He's not watching them. These are wild animals, and Job doesn't know. But God is saying, I know when even the mountain goats hiding in caves are giving birth. Or he says in verse 19, "Do you give the horse his strength?" Job, do you provide for the mighty horse its strength? God is saying, I do. I'm behind its strength. God goes on, and here's the one that really has stuck with me for a few days. In chapter 39, verse 26, "Is it by your understanding, Job, that the hawk soars and spreads his wings?" And I've just been meditating on this, thinking about the feathers on the wing of a hawk or an eagle or a chicken. We have chickens in our backyard this summer. And just how complex the wings the feathers are and how they fit together in just this beautiful array. And so God has checked Job as Job is saying, why is this happening? What is going on, God? Is there any purpose, any plan? I've been reminded by God's responses to Job that God isn't often going to answer our whys. Why is this happening? He's not often going to answer, how is this going to turn for good? And here God reminds Job, I know everything, like the mountain goats when they're giving birth. I am strong enough to control everything, like the power of the horse. And I'm wise enough over everything, even to devise the feathers of the flying hawk. So Job, I am wise, I am strong, and I am all-knowing. Now we come to this. Stick with me here. Hang on for another minute. Job 40, verse 8. God says, will you condemn me so that you may be in the right? Now here is a common day trap, current day trap. God says, when you look at all the pain, you look at all the suffering, you look at everything that confuses you, will you condemn me so that you may be in the right? And of course, there's thousands and millions of people saying there couldn't be a God because of all this evil that's happening. There couldn't be a God because of all this pain that's happening. And so we use our wisdom and our intellect to condemn God, to either say he couldn't exist or I don't want any part of what he's doing because of the pain that I see around the world. God calls Job out. God draws our hearts out by saying, will you condemn me so that you may be in the right? And for me, friends, I don't want to think I'm smarter than God. I don't want to think I'm wiser. I don't want to tell God how to do his job. I want to walk underneath his all-knowing, all-wise, all-powerful, loving hand. Well, we'll leave it with that. This has been a longer nugget, but there's a lot of stuff going on. God is all-knowing. God is all-wise. God is all-powerful. Job is reminded of that, and Job comes to the end of the book, and he lets God change his heart, and he walks into the blessings that God has for him for the rest of his life. And I want to encourage you to do the same. Let God be God. Walk in his path, and let him lead you into his wonderful life, whether that starts here on earth or it's in eternity with him after your life here is done. We'll see you next time.